guys, let me introduce myself. My name is Anissa Nuraini. I'm from Class A English Education Department UIN Sunan Gunung Jati Bandung. So guys, in this opportunity, I would like to talking about what I have learned in TOEL subject part 2. So guys, actually I have mentioned about the material in the last video. So for today, I would like to talking about the material about how to deal with different type of learners and the principle of teaching English to young learners. And all of the material is based on what I have learned when studying TOEL subject. So let's begin from how to deal with different type of learners. So actually, from this material, I have learned about many things such as passive and active learners, and then slow and fast learners, and then students with difficult to control or having a special needs. So let's start from the passive and active learners. So what is the passive and active learners? Yes, as we all know, that the passive learners means that the student just consuming, trying to understand, like reading a book, listen what teacher says, and usually the activities that mainly involve is listening and reading. And then for the active learners, it refers to deal more with the creating and producing their own. Active learners is deal more with the creating a sentences like having a conversation or writing an essay. It refers that the student is active in the class. It mainly involves more speaking and writing. Dealing with the passive and active learners, we need to 1. Give everyone equal to chance to speak up, and 2. Mix the passive and active student in the same groups, and 3. Do the personal approach if all else is failed, or talk to the passive student personally outside the class. And then the next is slow and fast learners. The students who have a learn fast are called fast learners. Obviously, their learning speed is more than the peers. And for the slow learners are the students who have slow speed than other students. As a teacher candidate, we should know how to deal with them, and we have to know what we have to follow when learning. And I think to deal with that, we can using this method like vary learning method, vary the level of difficult of the task or assignment, and then give enrichment or extra exercise to the fast learners, and then give the remedial teaching for the slow learners, and do the personal approach to talk specific learners if needed. And then for the next is students who have a difficult to control or having a special need. So basically, students that have a difficult to control, usually they had a tendency of the description classes. And they had a special needs like needed extra help because of an emotional and learning problem. A child who has a special needs, if they have a learning problem, that's make it more difficult for them to learn than most the children in their ages. And to deal with them, we ask the teacher candidate so to know that we have to begin enforcing it right away, like understand the student, priors the efforts and their achievements, and then giving a responsibilities, ensure student that clear about your expectation of them in the classroom, and etc. And then for the next material is principle of teaching English. So in the principle of teaching English, I have learned about 4 principles such as implicit learning, contextual learning, student-centered, and meaningful learning. Okay, let's start from implicit learning. So what is implicit learning? So actually, implicit learning refers to learning that automatically and with no conscious attempt to learn the things. We can say that the implicit learning is like a fun games in learning, because basically integral fun is young learners learning. And for the example, like when we learn about our mother tongue, we have no conscious when learning about our mother tongue language. And then for the next is contextual learning. So contextual learning means that put the language into the context. Context in this mean is the actual of use of the language. Do not focus only in the words, but show to the student how to use the words in the sentence. It means that put the language into the context. It is for make a conversation support for speaking skill. For example, like what is it? Is it bottle? Repeat on me. Is it bottle? It's important to put the language into the context, because learning a language without knowing the context in the real communication will not help the learners to develop their language skill. And then for the next is learner-centeredness or student-centered. Student-centered learning gives students the opportunity to decide two things: what's the material they learn and how they are learned it. In the contrast, Student Center engage the student as leaders and decision makers in their own learning. For the example like discussion in the group, in the context, actual Student Center make the student more active and busy than the teacher. And then for the next is meaningful learning. So what is meaningful learning? Meaningful learning actually connect the material with the student real life or the student experience. It's make the material is meaningful for them. Meaningful learning can be done with the using familiar name such as cartoon character and their names. For learning example is learning from a song, asking a personal experience, asking what their favorite idol, favorite food or favorite thing and etc. Make sure that everything you teach is meaningful for them because it can keep their learning motivation and interest. So guys, I think that's all of my experience that I have learned in TYL subject. So thank you so much for your attention. See you, bye bye.